Hi there, everyone. Welcome to Mindbreak Part 1 Creator Commentary by me, Brad. Recently, I did one of these for my original map Crash Course, and while the viewer count did not get to the point where I would have been happy, I still think it was a fun idea and a lot of people did appreciate it. And Mindbreak Part 1, which is this map right here, is actually the most subscribed map on the workshop of all my maps, which is actually surprising because this is the map I actually hate the most that I made. But yeah, I'll say why I pretty much hate this map and how I see it as pretty much a failure to the concept I had in my brain when I was making it. Let's go. So the idea behind the story of this map is you're actually on the run from something, probably Combine. It's always Combine when it comes to Half-Life. And yeah, apparently you came down that rope. That kind of looks like a noose. Whoops. And that's your buddy, that for some reason couldn't make it. He's probably gonna die. One of the most favorite things that people liked about this map is this hat right here. In fact, people love this hat so much that whenever it got eaten by a barnacle, they would even go back to their checkpoint just so they can have the hat back. There's only one of these that work, so yeah, keeping it is a good idea. You'll notice my flashlight is glowing, even though it's not doing anything. Yeah, so basically if you opted not to use the hat, basically you would use the flashlight instead. But due to the fact that Half Life Alyx allows only one active flashlight at a time, it's either this one or that one. Nothing I could have done to change that. It's all hard-coded. So obviously this map is very different from Crash Course. Oh, that's a pipe. It's very closed, and basically Crash Course was the complete opposite. It was very open. The main idea in this map I wanted to have at the beginning was using the environment to kill people. You'll see what I mean later on. Come on, zombie, I'm trying to use the environment to kill you. Get over here. Nice. So this map actually had a lot more concepts that were kind of in prototype phase before the actual final product came out. Do you see these gold bars things here? Obviously there's these rocks, but just colored gold. But at one point, I was actually spreading these golden rocks all across the walls, and there was a sort of prototype crowbar with the trigger hurt on it, where if you would hit the rocks that were gold, they would have given you resin or ammo. Well, my philosophy on resin hasn't changed, and by the time I started doing it, it didn't really feel right. So I got rid of the concept entirely. In fact, there's no resin in this map because, again, I'm personally just not a fan of resin in Half-Life Alyx. Here we have one of the first, I guess, set pieces you could say for this map. There's a zombie over there. And yeah, this is where things sort of got a little awry. Most people would see a red barrel and try to shoot it. I would say about 30% of people, once they realized the barrels were not blowing up, they would continue forward and just kill the zombie and ignore it. When in reality, my idea was they would press this button and this would happen. This is not to the fault of the players, by the way. The fact that I didn't really show much more emphasis on that button other than that lighting flare on the ground there, and at the same time using the default red barrels, which most people were expecting to shoot them to explode, that was purely my fault, and yeah, wasn't a good idea. Something you might notice about this map compared to Crash Course is it runs very well, and that's because I actually optimized the map using the ways you're supposed to optimize Source 2 maps. Yeah, Crash Course I didn't know how to do it, but this map I did. So despite the fact that there's literally a bunch of these giant rocks everywhere, and that's a lot of polygons, this map runs great. And it looks beautiful. You'll notice here, this is what looks to be water. Well, Source 2, or at least Half-Life Alyx, does not actually have any water. So this is just a texture. And it looks like that pretty obviously when you go in, and there's literally no effects, including nothing with gravity. That was pretty much the best I could do, but I really like the idea of underground lakes and caves, so I really wanted to include some of the crappy looking water in my map. It was just a designer decision, even though it has no function. The main benefit to come over here was just to pad the gameplay a little bit. There were some more ideas that had to do with that water, but none of them panned out the way I wanted it, but I still had the area created, so I figured I might as well just keep it, because it looks nice. But for the people that did come over here, they would get one of the few grenades on the map. This next area of the map you're about to see is really where I start to get the idea of using the environment to kill people. Or zombies. This man's holding a crowbar. He's no longer holding a crowbar. I have no aim. So normally the player would walk around this way. And once you get to a certain point, those barrels will drop and kill the zombie. The idea was to give the hint that, hey, these barrels can drop somehow. However, what I noticed in my playtesting that really kind of ruined the whole concept is people would shoot this. And honestly, it was right of the player to shoot that. And I should have made those breakable instead of the board. But I didn't. The real idea was to actually shoot the board again. That was the concept behind this area. And no one really was able to use it correctly the way I envisioned. Yikes. You also notice this zombie standing here. Well, there's a reason for that, why he just stands there and never goes anywhere. Because there's actually a fun way to kill him. But most players did not do this. Again, complete fault of me as the designer. Minecart control. I really regret most people missed this button, but yeah. Basically, it was at this part of the map where I was watching playtesters. Most people have played it, especially on YouTube, where I got the realization that, wow, this map was just not very good. And I'm very not proud of it. There was a moment in my brain where I was like, maybe I should go back and actually update this map, so it actually is more toward the vision of which I was planning for it. But the thing is with workshop maps is most people kind of play it mostly on a release, and very few actually play it again, or at least afterwards an update happens. So pretty much launching a workshop map, it's just, yeah, that's all people are going to remember for it. And I didn't decide to actually put any effort into updating it. And here is truly, truly the worst situation of the map. Obviously here you see some very different colored rocks, which kind of tells the player, maybe there's something special about these rocks. Well, I did not communicate anything very well to the player, again. The idea is these rocks were supposed to be hinted as breakable somehow, even though you can't shoot them to break. So you get the key card, open this up, and there is an enemy in here somewhere. And you would grab a barrel, throw the barrel over to these rocks, and blow up the barrel. However, the way I had this whole sort of programmed was, it didn't really matter where the barrel was when you blew it up to break the wall. And literally 99% of players, what they would do is this. So players would just blow this up and then look behind them and they'll notice, wait, those rocks are gone. That makes no sense. And that barrel's still there. Yeah, really bad design. If there's anything I did right in this map, I would say the ambience is probably the best of all my maps. But that's mostly due to the fact that you're in a closed space and everything looks better when it's dark. This next area is actually where I start to get a little bit more proud of the map. For the most part, this map's mostly been a walk through a park, sort of, with the difficulty. And that's due to the fact that zombies are just really not much of a threat in this game. One thing I felt that Half Life Alyx's main campaign really lacked was interesting antlion environments. And well, the interactions that antlions had with other enemies. I thought it was very cool of the idea to maybe have antlions attack a zombie. Oh, poor head crab. I would say antlions are probably my favorite normal enemy in the game. So most of this map was actually built with the unofficial Half Life Alyx tools. And if you knew anything about them, there's a lot of models and textures in the real game that were not actually available to use as assets. One of them was the actual antlion hive stuff, but the texture was still there. So I made these really gross looking models that were very basic and just threw the texture on there. And honestly, when there's not a light on them, they look fine. But yeah, they're not the real models, and that's why they look a little strange. Hey, look, a shotgun. Cool.
4 shells left.
Oh wow, a zombie. I sure hope I can kill it a fun way. Got him. Sometimes the zombie would actually lag the game because the body would get fused with this minecart, and yeah, physics. Fun. I want you to pay attention to these boards coming up ahead. So the reason I had that automatically break was to tell player, maybe some of these weird things above your head that you're constantly walking through are breakable. However, no one really got that. They just thought it was sort of a scripted event with no purpose at all. Again, a problem to do with my design. Before we go on further, there's actually something about this one exact area that's very significant. This map is actually very small, much smaller than I originally planned. The reason for that is I actually hit a weird hard limit that for some reason I could not render anything bigger than what this map already had. There was actually a part of the map hidden right here where it was actually an alternate path that would also loop around and you would drop down to the main area. It was just a way that I wanted to add some replayability and also different areas to explore. However, I could not render the entire map with this extra area, so a lot of the ideas I had for that would end up being ported to Mindbreak Part 2. Let's see if I can get over there. Yep, look at that. The area is still kind of intact. At least you can kind of see it. Obviously, there's nothing in here, but there used to be a bunch of like Zen spores and stuff in here. It was just a cool alternate path. And it's just hidden behind all these rocks. Kind of cool, right? That you're able to see that. So you'll notice here, these boards look completely healthy. The wood's not decayed at all. But those over here are not. I really should have had better lighting to kind of show that off because most people would not notice it. But you also notice a bunch of barrels above it as well. I wonder why. Let's find out. So the orange ones will follow you if you walk far enough. And let's get over here. I missed. Oh, never mind. In my last map, I said that the actual combine turrets were only hard-coded to do damage to antlions. So this was finally the opportunity I could use the turrets to actually do damage to things. What's also cool is they will not attack you if there's no antlions left. But most of the time, they're still not strong enough to kill the antlions in time before they get knocked over. Uh-oh. I hope there's more stuff to kill them with the environment with. I really should have added more because there's really only a few of them left. So you kind of have to drag them all over here if you want to kill them with barrels. That was the point of those. And unfortunately, no one was able to realize that due to the fact that I did not give more hints to the player that that was possible. Sorry. You hear that weird sound that the turrets are constantly spamming? Yeah, the turrets are coded very badly in this game, and when they're knocked down, they'll make that sound perpetually forever. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just how wonk turrets are. Remember how I said there was originally another alternate path? Well, that alternate path would eventually bring you over here, and you would drop down here. So, yeah. Detour. Whoa, what's that sound? I better look up. Wow. That's the future of gaming. No one saw that because actually forcing people to look up, even though that the sounds are directly above their head, doesn't seem to be something very easily in VR, especially when it's peering through a tiny hole that you can really only see it best from one angle. Again, guys, I see this map as mostly a failure. Looks like we're getting to the final end of the map. Before we do, I want to just comment one more thing. When I was originally making this map, I knew that was going to be a multi-part series, and I wanted the map to transition seamlessly like the maps do in the original game. However, upon realization that there was a bug in the game that honestly did not allow that at the time I was making the map, I pretty much totally gave up on the concept and just threw out the actual seamless transition altogether. However, literally the day that I released this map on the workshop, they fixed the bug. So, yeah. I didn't expect Valve to actually fix something in fast, because that's very unlike Valve. Whoa, what's going on? Oh, it's the Strider we saw earlier. Oh my god. Oh my god. Real quick, before we actually finish this map, I want to show you a little effect that I did. Do you see this tunnel? It looks really far away when you're standing there, but it's actually not that far away. But what's actually happening is the actual tunnel is getting smaller. And all this stuff here is actually really tiny to make it seem a lot more far away. And yeah, cool effect, right? I don't know, I always love this kind of stuff. And look at that, you can even see the full map from here. All right, let's go back and finish the map as intended. Well, maybe not as intended, but... And there you have it. That was Mindbreak Part 1. People always judge me for being too critical on things that are not my own. So, yeah, it's kind of nice to go back and say, hey, I really don't like this map. And for a lot of people, this is their favorite map. From me? So, craziness. Pure craziness. Mindbreak Part 2, however, I will be doing a video like this very soon. And that map is actually my favorite. Because it's polished in every way and actually forces the player to do things I actually wanted in the original design. But until then, this map was a failure, and even though I'm very happy many people liked it, there was so much more planned for the original concept of this map. So yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I hope you have a great day and eat a lot of grub. Grub. Did I say grub? I meant grub.